With the 2022-23 season drawing to a close, it truly is crunch time for many clubs as they seek to hunker down and achieve their goals set at the beginning of the season. For many clubs, they will crack under pressure, and others will rise to the occasion to clinch their prizes. Behind every of these clubs is a manager who holds the master plan and keys to success. Like Stade de Reims and the architect of their success, Will Still. With a catchy name that sweeps the tongue, William Still has been nothing short of a sensation in football. You can say he is having what players call their breakout season. For many casuals, he is known as the guy who went from binge sessions on his computer with Football Manager games to actually guide a historical club back to old glory. He is living out the FM dream. But with a record like his this season, it looks much more than that. In fact, we reckon he can be named among the best coaches of the season. Welcome to Football Pro. In this video, we're going to examine Will Still and how he measures up as the best coach of the 22-23 season. This channel is dedicated to bringing you awesome, regular content in and around the beautiful game of football. Let's dive in. For every lover of the notorious Football Manager game, managing a club is a coveted and distant dream. But aside from his fascination with the tactics-based game, Will Still has put in quite the work to justify his meteoric rise through the ranks. Unraveling the myth behind the legend, his unique journey began at birth. Will was born in 1992 to English parents and raised in Braine-l'Alleud, Belgium. And his upbringing mirrored just how the perfect balance of which is evident in his character today. Growing up in the Walloon region, near Brussels, gave Will the opportunity to blend in with all of English, French, and Belgian cultures. While being immersed in an English home, he also attended a French language school and picked up Dutch by playing for Flemish football clubs. Like every football-crazed fan, Will chose a playing career as his first love. His passion to play on the big stages would see him go through the youth teams of Belgian clubs Sint-Truiden and Mons. Many years later, Will Still would finally play for Mons reserve team and an amateur club Tempo Overijse in 4th division of the Belgian domestic leagues. During his teenage years, Will began to develop a fondness for the popular video games, Football Manager and Championship Manager, which focused heavily on the coaching aspect of football. An instant bond was formed here which convinced him to pursue a career in coaching instead. His new passion would make him pursue a career in coaching with a degree in applied football coaching at Preston's Myerscough College in his native England. At the end of his studies, he took on the management of Preston North End's Under-14s in the youth setup as part of his internship. Here was the beginning of a very long journey for Will Still. The next couple of years would be a wild roller coaster for Will Still and his coaching career. His humble steps began by doing what most of us do in our early 20s, job searching. Will Still was determined to have a career in football and went from club to club in Belgium asking for a role. Like all job searches, most never got back to him, but the one that did wasn't what he expected. After tendering his CV, which included his degree, coaching experience, youth playing career and more, he was asked by the head coach of Belgian club, Sint-Truiden, to record a rival team and make a video clip analysis. And that is just what he did. Will Still went to the maximum in cutting and making the video so well that Ferreira hired him on the spot after receiving his work. Right after, he began working a full-time job as video analyst for the club. As every beautiful football manger tale goes, Still's years behind his computer screen shone through as he joined Ferreira's core staff as an assistant coach. When his boss moved to Standard Liège, one of the country's biggest clubs, Will was in tow. Now, he was a trusted sidekick to a top manager and one step closer to where he wanted to be, or so it seemed. During his time there, the club won the domestic cup, but the club still fell short. The Dream Tag Team's journey was cut short when Ferreira and his coaching band were sacked the following season. But for Will, the quest that had only just begun. He soon found employment later that year at Lierse, a team in the Belgian 2nd division, under Frederik van der Biest. At Lierse, Will combined his coaching skills as assistant manager with his video analysis skills as an analyst. There was an opening at Standard Liège, and Will soon returned to the club, but soon left after just 2 days due to a falter on the club's part in contract negotiations. Luckily, he was missed at Lierse and instantly regained his position, turning the leaves to a great chapter for him. In October 2017, Still's boss Van der Biest was sacked by the club management, and Will was offered the job as caretaker manager. He quickly helped turn things around with the team as they went on a 7-game winning streak and picked up 21 points out of a possible 27. However, the jolly ride took a stop as they hit a license obstacle. According to league regulations, no manager could manage a Belgian second division team for more than 60 days without the UEFA A-level coach degree. It was a blow for the club, as Will still managed an outstanding 2.62 points on the average for them. Funny enough, Will Still's license issues persists till date, as Stade de Reims pays a $22,000 fine for every match he manages without a UEFA Pro license. Get it together, Will. Oh, by the way, a lot of hard work and care goes into these videos, so if you could help us out and click that lovely subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up too. Back at Lierse, Will Still was forced back into the supporting cast as assistant to David Colpert, a licensed coach, until the club was declared bankrupt in the summer. Afterwards, the Flying Nomad packed his bags for Beerschot in the Belgian First Division, where he served under both Stijn Vreven and Hernan Losada as assistant manager. With Losada at the helm and still at his side, the club was promoted to the First Division. In January 2021, Losada left the club for DC United in the American MLS. Once again, Will Still became the top candidate to take over as manager. He took over the reins and brilliantly steered the club to a 9th-place finish in the league. The future was looking bright for the young gun, but the club had a different idea. During the summer, Will's holiday was interrupted to learn Beerschot's new boss would be the more experienced Peter Mays. The club offered him his former role as assistant coach, but Will passed on it as it felt like a step backwards. As soon as he received an offer from Stade Reims in France, Will Still made his first step into a career in the top 5 leagues. But he was not head coach just yet, and took another row at the Stade Reims supporting cast where he became the assistant coach to Oscar Garcia. Just when everything seemed settled, Will Still re-entered the loop as he made another infamous return to Standard Liège. But this was for good reason. His license classes were registered in Belgium, and taking the classes meant long drives between both countries. So, Will made a solid decision to stay at Liège for the 2021 season. Just a young king making the right sacrifices. The next season, Stade Reims came calling again, and Will Still answered the summon of destiny. For any football lover in France, Les Rouges et Blancs, as the club is called, is one of the country's biggest clubs. Asides the club's 6 Ligue 1 titles, Stade Reims also contested the 1956 European Cup final against Real Madrid's dynasty, and another European Cup final in 1959. They have boasted a great cast of players in history like Raymond Kopa, who was the first French player to win a Ballon d'Or, Just Fontaine, the record goal scorer in a World Cup tournament, and many other players who formed the core of France's 3rd-place finish at the 1958 FIFA World Cup. After the club's golden age in the 50s and early 60s, where they clinched all 6 league titles, the performances descended into mediocrity. Things took a turn for worse both on and off the field, which ended in the club's relegation to Division 3 in 1991. In fact, the club was briefly liquidated and auctioned off after being declared financially unfit. The club returned named as Stade de Reims Champagne FC in 1992 and began an agonizingly slow climb to their former status. After 30 years, the club finally returned to Ligue 1 in 2012, but was relegated in 2016 until another promotion in 2018. Lately, the Red and Whites have been regaining their hold in the country as they finished the 2020-21 season in the top 6 positions. That season's efforts earned them the rights to contest their first European match since 1962 in the Europa League qualifying rounds. For a club as grounded in both history and suffering as Stade de Reims, faith does not come easy. A fateful match against the league giants, Paris Saint-Germain, would change Will Still's life forever. The boss, Oscar Garcia, had family matters to tend to, and Will Still was left in charge to take on the Parisians. A very daunting task for anyone indeed. Reims had lost their last 8 league matches to PSG and were looking at a 9th in a row. But there stood Will Still. In that match where Kylian Mbappe and Neymar Jr. were expected to bring the storm for a routine blowout, Stade de Reims was comfortably the better side. The home side's control of the game awed the spectators at the Stade d'Auguste Delon. But most importantly, the management saw the future spark in Will Still. Will revealed that the zero 0 draw against PSG was a massive psychological boost for his players who only need the right information and motivation to match the Parisian giants. Soon after, Oscar Garcia was sacked, and his departure made way for the new boss of the outfit. Fair to say they made the right gamble. That game was the beginning of an unparalleled 19-game unbeaten run. This remains the season's longest unbeaten streak across Europe's top 5 leagues, way ahead of Nice's 10 matches, as well as the 9-game run shared by both Atletico Madrid and Borussia Dortmund. Only Scotland's Celtic, Serbia's FK Crvena Zvezda, and Le Havre in the French second division have managed longer unbeaten streaks so far. Will Still has truly put himself in elite company, especially after surpassing Tito Villanova's record for 17 unbeaten matches for a manager's start. In fact, his only defeat as Stade de Reims boss came in a 3-1 away defeat to Toulouse in the Coupe de France round of 16. In a career where the average age range for most top managers is between 44 and 60, he is defying the odds as the youngest manager in charge of a team in Europe's top 5 leagues. Will Still is definitely on his way to legend status, but for now, he is regarded as a cult hero with the great amount of love he is showered by Reims faithfuls with calls, emails, texts, and the local celebrity treatment. How has he done it? An integral part of his plans has been Folarin Balogun, an English striker on loan from Arsenal, who is competing for this season's top scorer after netting 16 goals in League One. The team lines up in a 4-2-3-1 formation with Balogun ahead of a Nanten, who is flanked by the dangerous pair of Japanese winger Junya Ito and French ace Alexis Flips on the wings. In his build-up play, Will's Reims is used to long balls from the keeper and uses a single pivot to progress the ball up the field. But most of the build-up is done on the flank. Stade de Reims utilizes their competent wingers to take advantage of the width and create spaces in opposition defense. They also use long balls to switch flanks for disorganizing defensive structures and making inroads to the box. With full backs that push high up the pitch, the attacking midfielders are allowed to cut in and take more risks. Will's tactics has seen Reims get bolder in front of goal to score more goals, but the true crown piece is the club's defense. Will Still's side has managed 6 clean sheets in a row and a league high of 12 total clean sheets in 27 league games ahead of PSG's 11. Crowding the final third means Reims can be quite exposed, but their counter-pressing to regain possession is impeccable. It allows some players to crowd the opposition, while others return to defensive positions. Reims players are also capable of making tactical fouls to halt dangerous attacks in their tracks. When defending low, the team stays in a compact 4-4-2 shape to press the opposition more conservatively. The starting goalkeeper, Yevan Diouf, and club captain, Younis Abdelhamid, have been rock solid in defense. Asides his record-making tactics, Will has proven himself to be a competent man manager and motivator, who is as multilingual as they come. His record against the league's top teams is squeaky clean, and he will be a headache for the country's elite. There are many top managers in Europe achieving great feats in football, but none of them have managed a 19 unbeaten streak this season. However, William is not a lone wolf, as the passion for coaching seems to run in the Still family. A club in the Belgium First Division, Eupen, is currently led by his older brother Ed, who is supported by their younger brother Nicholas as assistant coach. We might be delighted with a few Still family affair derbies in the future, who knows? One thing we do know is that Will Still is a cream of the crop among Europe's managers. As the club president stated, he is a gem in the rough, and Stade de Reims are lucky to have him, but would be even luckier to keep him. No doubt, Will Still is one of the best managers this season, and looks to steer the club back to its rightful place. Reims are only 8 points off League One's 4th place, which would be a very welcome achievement for an elite club long in waiting. Whatever happens, the faithfuls are behind Will Still, and rightfully so. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. But why stop now? Click this video right here for more awesome content.